Hello there. Welcome to Sleep Through Space. Get comfortable as we begin our sleepy journey into our solar system. Ready? Close your eyes for a moment. Let your breathing soften, and imagine you're floating just above Earth's thin blue atmosphere. The world grows quieter the higher you drift, as if someone is gently turning down the volume knob of reality. The glow from the horizon fades into deep space, and in the distance, you see the warm, steady light of the thing that makes everything possible, the sun. Tonight, we begin a peaceful journey across our solar system, moving slowly from the sun to the inner planets, discovering calming little truths about each one. This is not a fast trip. This is a quiet drift through cosmic neighborhoods, where every moment feels like floating through a warm, dark ocean made of stars. So, let's begin with the center of everything. The sun, the quiet heartbeat of the solar system. The sun is so familiar that we often forget how astonishing it really is. It looks like a simple glowing circle in the sky, but in reality, it's a gigantic sphere of plasma, almost a perfect ball, filled with constant motion. Yet despite its violence, from far away, it radiates a steady, comforting warmth, like a fireplace you can feel from millions of kilometers away. The sun is 4.6 billion years old, and it has quietly burned for longer than all of human history by an unimaginable margin. Every second, it converts 600 million tons of hydrogen into helium, releasing light and heat that take just over 8 minutes to reach Earth. That means the sunlight touching your skin today actually started its journey when you were doing something completely different, 8 minutes earlier. Inside the sun, the light is born deep in the core, where temperatures reach around 15 million degrees Celsius. But that light doesn't travel upward easily. It bounces around inside the sun, scattering endlessly. It can take 100,000 to a million years for a photon to finally escape the sun's interior. That means the sunlight that warms the Earth today may have been created before modern humans even existed. When you think about it this way, every sunrise is a message from the far past, a gentle reminder that you're part of a story much older than yourself. Even though the sun is massive, containing 99.86% of all the mass in the solar system, its surface looks calm from a distance. The slow ripples you see are just convection cells, giant bubbles of plasma rising and falling like boiling water, except each bubble is about the size of Texas. Yet viewed from space, they move so slowly and smoothly that it feels peaceful, like watching waves in slow motion. For the next 5 billion years, the sun will continue shining quietly, steadily, and reliably. If the solar system were a house, the sun would be the warm lamp left on in the living room, the one that makes the whole place feel alive. Mercury, the silent world closest to the sun. As you drift away from the sun, the first world you encounter is Mercury. It's a small rocky planet, about the size of Earth's moon, and it moves around the sun faster than any other planet. Because it's so close, Mercury completes a full orbit in just 88 days. A year on Mercury is shorter than a season on Earth. Mercury has no real atmosphere, so there's nothing to hold heat in place. That means its surface temperatures swing dramatically, scorching hot during the day, freezing cold at night. On one side of the planet, the ground can reach 430 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead. On the other side, temperatures drop to around minus 180 degrees Celsius, colder than any place on Earth. But the strangest and most relaxing thing about Mercury is how slowly it rotates. One day on Mercury, one full spin, lasts 59 Earth days. That means if you stood on the surface, hypothetically, since no human or spacecraft can survive long there, you would watch the sun rise painfully slowly, moving so gradually across the sky that it would take weeks for it to reach its highest point. Time feels stretched there, almost sleepy, as if the planet itself is dozing. There are no storms on Mercury, no winds, no clouds, almost absolute silence. With no atmosphere, sound doesn't travel. So even if a giant meteor landed nearby, you wouldn't hear a thing. Imagine standing there on a world made only of sunlight, shadow, and silence. The stars would shine even during the day because nothing scatters the sunlight. You could see the galaxy while the sun hangs in the sky. It's a planet where everything feels still, as if time itself is resting. Venus, the planet that should have been Earth's twin. A little farther out, floating through thick golden clouds, lies Venus. It's often called Earth's sister planet because they're similar in size, mass, and composition. If you look at Venus from space, it's beautiful. A smooth, pearl-colored sphere covered in swirling clouds that move gracefully across the entire planet. But those clouds hide an intense and surprising truth. Venus is the hottest planet in the solar system, even hotter than Mercury, despite being farther from the sun. Its thick atmosphere traps heat so efficiently that the temperature remains around 465 degrees Celsius, day or night, at the equator or at the poles. But here's the calming, dreamy part. Venus rotates extremely slowly, even slower than Mercury. A single day on Venus lasts 243 Earth days, longer than its entire 225-day year. That means Venus spins so slowly that its day is longer than its year. If you stood on the surface, hypothetically, since no human or spacecraft can survive long there, you would watch the sun crawl across the sky in a bizarre direction. Venus rotates backwards, opposite almost every other planet. So the sun would rise in the west and set in the east, but so slowly that you might only witness one sunrise in your entire life if you lived there. The clouds of Venus move fast, though, faster than any Earth hurricane. They circle the entire planet every 4 Earth days, creating a peaceful, soft pattern of constant atmospheric waves above a world where time moves at a dreamy, almost frozen pace. Venus is like a planet caught in a slow-motion dream, wrapped in glowing clouds that never reveal what lies beneath. Earth, the quiet miracle we call home. Now we reach our home, Earth, the only place we know that hosts life, water, air, and seasons. But today we're not thinking about humans or cities or noise. We're drifting above Earth as if we're visitors from somewhere far away. Seen from space, Earth is a gentle swirl of blues, whites, greens, and soft browns. The clouds look like brushstrokes on a painting. The oceans cover over 70% of the surface and glow a deep, calming blue from space, a color like nothing else in the solar system. Earth rotates at just the right speed to create a 24-hour day, a rhythm that all life has synchronized with. It's the natural heartbeat of the planet. Day, night, day, night. A cycle that feels familiar and comforting. The atmosphere acts like a blanket, keeping temperature stable so water can stay liquid. And that water shapes everything. Rivers, lakes, coastlines, storms, clouds. Earth is constantly changing, but always in a gentle, flowing way. Earth's magnetic field has a calming beauty too. It extends far into space, forming a protective bubble called the magnetosphere. When charged particles from the sun hit it, they create shimmering auroras, green, purple, pink curtains of light that ripple across the polar skies like a cosmic lullaby. Earth is dynamic, but balanced. busy but peaceful from afar, alive but calm when viewed from space. Mars, the quiet desert world. Moving farther out, we reach Mars, the red planet. It's smaller than Earth, colder, drier, and wrapped in a thin atmosphere that gives it a timeless, silent feeling. Mars is a place where wind shapes ancient dunes and dust storms move slowly across vast plains. The sky on Mars isn't blue like Earth's. During the day, it's a pale butterscotch color. And at sunset, it turns blue for just a moment as the sunlight interacts with the dust in the atmosphere. It's like the planet briefly flips the sky colors we're used to. As you continue drifting across the solar system, imagine the faint warmth of the inner planets fading behind you. Mars becomes a tiny red dot, swallowed by the velvet black of space. Out here, the sunlight grows softer and more diffuse, almost like a gentle nightlight guiding you forward. The next stop is a world so enormous, so quietly powerful, that it shapes the architecture of the entire solar system without making a sound. It is Jupiter, the giant among giants. Take a slow breath as you approach. Jupiter isn't just a planet. It's a floating world of swirling clouds, storms the size of continents, glowing auroras, and deep mysteries that scientists still dream about. Its presence is calming, like drifting near a massive ancient guardian. This is the largest planet we have, a soft, colorful globe of gas with a gravity so strong that it has acted as Earth's shield for billions of years. Think about that. Without Jupiter, life on Earth might never have had a chance. Its gravity often pulls in comets and asteroids that might otherwise strike the inner planets. In a way, Jupiter is like a cosmic protector, quietly taking hits so that the smaller worlds can remain peaceful. That alone makes it comforting, a silent guardian in the dark. As you drift closer, the first thing you notice is Jupiter's stripes. Bands of white, tan, orange, and red wrap around it like gentle brush strokes. These swirling patterns are made of ammonia clouds, water vapor, and deeper chemical compounds rising and sinking in constant fluid motion. The entire planet is like a slow, breathing artwork. Jupiter rotates faster than any other planet, only about 10 hours per day. This fast spin stretches its clouds into long ribbons, creating the hypnotic, striped appearance. The winds here can reach over 400 miles per hour. Yet from space, everything looks smooth and calm, like the surface of a softly spinning marble. And then there's the Great Red Spot. It's a giant storm, older than any human civilization, possibly over 300 years old. A storm so large that 2 Earths could fit inside it. But despite its size, from a restful distance, it looks like a gentle swirl of color, a warm dot on an otherwise cool planet. Imagining yourself floating above it is strangely peaceful. You are far away from the chaos, close enough only to admire its beauty, far enough for silence. But Jupiter's story isn't complete without its moons. 4 remarkable worlds, each unique, each fascinating. They're known as the Galilean moons, of course, because Galileo first spotted them in 1610. And just as he watched them from Earth through a small telescope, you're about to drift through their quiet orbits one by one. The first moon is Io, the most volcanic place in the entire solar system. Its surface is dotted with bright yellows, reds, and whites, sulfuric colors glowing softly in the dark. Volcanoes constantly reshape its landscape, sending plumes of material hundreds of miles upward. But seen from afar, Io looks like a warm, painted sphere, almost like a small glowing ember drifting around Jupiter. Next comes Europa, one of the most peaceful-looking objects in the sky. Its surface is almost completely smooth, a sheet of clean, bright ice, crisscrossed by long, gentle cracks. Under that ice, scientists believe there is a global ocean, containing more water than all the oceans on Earth combined. And the water is warm, heated by tidal forces from Jupiter's gravity. As you glide past Europa, you can imagine an entire ocean world hidden beneath the surface, calm and dark and ancient. After Europa, you approach Ganymede, the largest moon in the solar system. It's even bigger than Mercury. But despite its size, Ganymede is surprisingly quiet. Its surface is a mix of ice and rock, with faint grooves stretching across it like soft scratches. It even has its own magnetic field, something no other moon has. If you were to stand on its surface, you might feel as though you're standing on a planet of your own. And then there's Callisto, the most heavily cratered world in the solar system. Callisto has hardly changed in 4 billion years. It's like a cosmic time capsule, a moon that remembers everything. Its surface is peppered with soft, shallow craters, giving it a peaceful, dusty appearance. Nothing disturbs it. It simply drifts around Jupiter, eternally calm. Now, as you leave Jupiter behind, imagine the sunlight becoming even dimmer, softer, almost blue. Ahead of you is Saturn, the most visually stunning object in our solar system. Even at a distance, its rings sparkle like gentle cosmic jewelry, thin and delicate and white enough to stretch nearly the distance between Earth and the Moon. Saturn is less dense than water. If you had a giant cosmic bathtub, Saturn would float. Just picture that. A planet floating on still water. Its atmosphere is pale gold, with soft, creamy cloud layers that move slowly across its surface. Unlike Jupiter's strong stripes, Saturn's bands are subtle, like soft shadows. The planet rotates quickly too. A Saturn day lasts about 10.5 hours, but its clouds still appear smooth and serene. And then there's the rings. Saturn's rings are its most iconic feature, and they're more beautiful than any photograph can show. They're not solid. They're made of countless tiny pieces of ice and rock, some as small as grains of sand, others as large as houses. These pieces orbit Saturn in perfect harmony, forming bright bands and dark gaps, delicate patterns that shift gently over time. Imagine drifting along the edge of the rings. Everything feels peaceful here. There is no sound, only the silent motion of frozen crystals gliding around Saturn. The sunlight scatters through these ice particles, creating a soft glow that looks almost like starlight trapped in a halo. The rings may look solid from far away, but up close, they're more like a shimmering snowstorm, spread into a giant thin disk. And because the particles orbit at different speeds, the entire ring structure creates a subtle, calming texture that feels almost like watching ripples on a lake. Saturn also has many moons, more than 80, but 2 of them stand out in this quiet journey. The first is Titan, the only moon with a thick atmosphere. Its air is orange and hazy, filled with methane clouds that drift slowly across the sky. Rivers and lakes of liquid methane and ethane fill its valleys, and its surface is colder than anything on Earth. Yet, it has weather, storms, rain, and even seasons. Titan feels like a frozen echo of Earth, a reminder that even in the coldest corners of the solar system, something familiar can still exist. And the second is Enceladus, a tiny moon with a brilliant secret. Its surface is pure white ice, smooth and reflective. From its south pole, enormous geysers shoot streams of water vapor and ice particles into space. Scientists believe these geysers come from an underground ocean, just like Europa. The ocean plumes even help feed Saturn's rings with fresh material. Imagine drifting through one of those plumes, soft, cold crystals drifting around you, illuminated by distant sunlight. It's like floating through a gentle, slow-motion snowfall in space. As part 2 comes to an end, you drift away from Saturn. Behind you are the gentle giants, Jupiter and Saturn, each with their own quiet beauty. You floated past storms larger than worlds, oceans hidden under ice, glowing rings made of crystal dust, and moons that have watched the universe sleep for billions of years. Ahead of you, farther out, the solar system grows dimmer and colder, but peaceful. Always peaceful. You're drifting toward the outer realms now, Uranus, Neptune, and beyond, where the solar system becomes quieter than anywhere you've been so far. As you drift away from the realm of the giants, Jupiter and Saturn grow smaller behind you, shrinking into warm, glowing dots wrapped in gentle bands of color. The space around you becomes quieter than ever, an almost perfect stillness that feels endless, like you're floating through the universe's own breath. The sunlight now is weak and pale, diluted by distance. Like the dim glow of a far-away night lamp, it reaches you softly, barely warm, barely bright, yet still guiding you forward. Ahead lies the region of the ice giants, Uranus and Neptune, worlds so distant, so quiet, that they feel like dreams drifting in the dark. Take a slow breath. Let yourself sink into the silence of the outer solar system. You're now entering a place where time moves differently, slower, gentler. A year on one of these planets lasts long enough for entire human lifetimes to pass. Everything here is stretched out, softened, calm. This is where the solar system begins to whisper. Uranus, the tipping planet. The first world you approach is Uranus, a pale, bluish orb hanging silently in the dark. Its color is soft and milky, like a smooth marble washed in gentle blue light. It doesn't have the sharp bands of Jupiter or the bright rings of Saturn. Instead, Uranus looks calm, uniform, simple, almost like a giant pearl drifting through space. Uranus is unlike any other planet for one very peaceful, very strange reason. It spins on its side. Imagine the Earth spinning like a top. Now, imagine the top being knocked completely over, lying nearly flat, still spinning. That's Uranus. Its tilt is about 98 degrees, meaning its axis is almost horizontal. Most planets rotate upright compared to their orbit. Uranus rolls around the sun like a sleepy body turned on its side. No one knows exactly how this happened, but the best theory suggests that billions of years ago, something massive, perhaps a young planet, struck Uranus so hard that it permanently tilted it over. Instead of wobbling upright again, Uranus simply stayed like that, resting, unbothered. As you float closer, you notice something faint and unexpected. Uranus does have rings, thin, dark, barely visible. They don't glow like Saturn's. They don't shimmer. Instead, they orbit like quiet shadows, delicate and subtle, circling the planet in silence. Even the atmosphere of Uranus feels gentle. The winds are fast but smooth, flowing in calm bands across its surface. Its bluish color comes from methane gas, which absorbs red light and reflects blue, giving it that cool, tranquil hue. But what truly makes Uranus soothing is its distance. It is so far from the sun that sunlight takes almost 3 hours to reach it. Imagine that the light that warms Earth in 8 minutes
spends 3 hours traveling to Uranus, arriving only as a faint, soft illumination. The temperatures here drop to levels beyond imagination, down to minus 224 degrees Celsius, making Uranus one of the coldest objects in the solar system. But in this peaceful journey, that cold feels less like harshness and more like stillness, a deep, unmoving quiet. Uranus also has 27 moons, most of them named after characters from Shakespeare. Miranda, Ariel, Umbrio, Titania, Oberon, each one unique, each one silently orbiting like actors frozen in mid-performance. One of the most calming is Miranda, a patchwork moon with cliffs, grooves, and strange mismatched terrain. Scientists believe it might have broken apart multiple times, then reassembled itself, quietly putting itself back together. A moon that was shattered, but healed. There is something peaceful in that. As you drift past Uranus and its moon family, the soft blue glow fades behind you. The darkness deepens once again. Ahead lies the last of the major planets, the faraway world wrapped in cobalt blue mystery, Neptune. Neptune, the windy, deep blue giant. Neptune appears slowly, almost shyly, out of the dark. It is a deeper blue than Uranus, rich, elegant, almost luminous, like a lantern hidden in the depths of an ocean. It is the farthest known major planet from the Sun, orbiting at a distance so great that a single year on Neptune lasts 165 Earth years. When Neptune last completed one orbit, humans had not yet invented the telephone. This planet was the first to be discovered not by direct observation, but through math. Astronomers in the 1800s noticed that Uranus wasn't moving exactly as predicted. Something invisible seemed to be tugging on it. That something was Neptune. It was discovered by noticing a gravitational whisper. That makes Neptune feel like a planet that wanted to be found, not by sight, but by intuition. As you move closer, the deep blue becomes more vibrant. This color also comes from methane, but Neptune's atmosphere has unknown factors that make it even bluer. Something hidden. Something we still don't fully understand. Despite being far away and frozen, Neptune is full of motion. It has the fastest winds in the entire solar system, reaching nearly 2,100 kilometers per hour. Yet from space, all that furious wind looks soft and smooth, like gentle brushstrokes drifting across the planet's atmosphere. One of its most calming features is the Great Dark Spot, a large storm similar to Jupiter's red spot, but with a quieter appearance. It comes and goes, forming and dissolving over years. Not violent, but transient. A storm that doesn't rage. It simply exists for a time, then fades. Neptune also has rings, thin and faint, made of dark particles that create soft, hazy arcs around the planet. They look like wisps of smoke or lightly drawn lines, barely visible against the blue backdrop. And then there is Neptune's largest moon, Triton. Triton orbits backwards, opposite the direction Neptune rotates. This means that Triton was likely captured from elsewhere, perhaps from the Kuiper Belt long ago. Now it orbits Neptune in graceful retrograde silence. The surface of Triton is smooth, icy, and bright, with geysers that shoot nitrogen gas into the sky. These geysers leave dark streaks that almost look like gentle brush marks on the ice. And just like Europa and Enceladus, Triton may also have an ocean beneath its chilled surface, a global sea hidden under layers of frozen calm. As you drift past Neptune, you can almost forget that you're still in the same solar system. It feels like another realm entirely. Cooler, darker, quieter. A place where time stretches out into soft, endless hours. But your journey isn't finished. Beyond Neptune lies a region even more peaceful, a place where the sun becomes just another distant star, the Kuiper Belt. The Kuiper Belt, the solar system's quiet borderland. As you move into the Kuiper Belt, the planets are behind you now. Ahead lies a vast region filled with icy worlds, quiet and slow-moving, drifting gently in orbits that take centuries to complete. The sunlight here is faint, so faint that shadows barely form. Everything around you glows with a cold, pale light. This region is filled with small, icy bodies, the leftovers of the solar system's formation. They are ancient, untouched, unchanged, floating time capsules. Among these worlds is Pluto, no longer officially a major planet, but still one of the most beloved. Pluto is tiny, distant, and serene. Its surface is covered in frozen nitrogen, methane, and carbon monoxide, creating soft plains and heart-shaped ice fields. When NASA's New Horizons spacecraft flew past Pluto in 2015, it found the world far more beautiful than expected. Mountains of water ice, smooth frozen plains, blue hazy skies. Even here, at the edge of everything, beauty persists. Other Kuiper Belt objects drift around you. Eris, Makemake, Haumea, each one with their own slow, icy rotations. The Kuiper Belt feels like the solar system's outer garden. Cold, quiet, but peaceful. Nothing rushes here. Nothing is loud. Everything simply moves, softly, calmly, without hurry.
Allow your breath to drift into a slow, effortless rhythm. Gentle in, gentle out, as we leave the pale blue stillness of Uranus behind and continue our soothing journey outward, further into the quiet, dim edges of our solar system. Out here, sunlight has weakened into a faint, distant glow, a soft lantern rather than a warm star. Space feels colder, quieter, more peaceful than anywhere we've been before. And ahead of us, emerging gradually from the darkness, is a deep, calming shade of blue. A world wrapped in cool, velvety tones that look like the night sky turned into a planet. This is Neptune, the farthest major world from the sun, a serene, ocean-colored giant floating in the most tranquil region of space. Let yourself drift closer. Let the rich blue atmosphere fill your imagination and sink softly into the restful glow of Neptune, the color of cosmic oceans. If Uranus is a pale, icy pastel, Neptune is a deeper, richer, more mesmerizing blue. Unlike any other world, Neptune's color isn't just an effect of methane. There's something else, something we haven't identified yet, that gives Neptune its uniquely vivid hue. It's the color of deep water, of twilight skies, of long, dreamlike moments just before sleep. Staring at Neptune feels like sinking slowly into calm ocean depths, with cool waves of blue surrounding you, layer after layer. Darker as you move deeper, until everything becomes quiet, still, and peaceful. Even NASA scientists describe Neptune's color as soothing, almost hypnotic. And floating here, just above its cloud tops, you can feel that deep calm spreading gently through your thoughts. The breeze of the outer solar system. It may be surprising, but Neptune holds the fastest winds in the solar system, reaching more than 1,200 miles per hour. Yet from above, they don't appear violent or chaotic. They swirl in smooth, cool patterns like soft blue currents flowing under glass. Out here, the winds feel different, less like storms and more like slow, powerful streams moving together in harmony.
The cloud bands slide around the planet with elegance, white wisps drifting quietly over the deep blue beneath them. Everything is so far away, so spread out, so quiet, that even Neptune's fierce winds look gentle from a distance. They blend into long, graceful arcs, like brushstrokes of white on a cobalt canvas. It's chaos turned into calm, motion turned into meditation. The great dark spot, a quiet wandering storm. On Jupiter, the great red spot rages like a cosmic hurricane. But on Neptune, a similar storm exists, only quieter, darker, more mysterious. It's called the Great Dark Spot, and it drifts silently through Neptune's atmosphere, like a shadow passing through deep blue water. Sometimes it appears, sometimes it fades, sometimes it moves to new locations. Neptune's storms are temporary, appearing for a few years before dissolving again into the calm blue haze of the planet. It's soothing to know that even massive storms can fade quietly, like passing thoughts, dispersing back into stillness. The softest clouds in the solar system. Floating above Neptune are thin, delicate clouds made primarily of methane crystals. They look like wisps of white smoke, or the faintest traces of frost brushed lightly across the sky. Some form long, thin streaks. Others gather around the edges of storms. All of them move slowly, gracefully, like fine threads drifting in slow motion. If you were hovering in a safe vessel above Neptune's cloud tops, the atmosphere would feel expansive and dreamlike. A vast, endless ocean of blue and white stretching out beneath you in every direction. Just looking at it slows your heartbeat, loosens the tension behind your eyes, and brings a sense of peace from the sheer simplicity of it all. The quiet structure inside Neptune. Like Uranus, Neptune is an ice giant, a world made not of solid surfaces, but layers upon layers of atmospheric gases and hidden oceans of exotic ices. As you imagine sinking deeper into Neptune's interior, the colors fade to darker shades of blue, then indigo, then near black. Pressure increases slowly, like the weight of deep water. Beneath the clouds, scientists believe a thick layer of water, ammonia, and methane forms a vast, mysterious ocean. Not liquid in the way we know it, but a super-pressurized, dense, icy fluid. And deeper still, deeper than any human imagination has ever truly captured. There may be a core of rock and metal no bigger than Earth, but wrapped in thousands of miles of dark, silent, cold material. Everything inside Neptune is quiet, slow, heavy, still, a frozen meditation at the far edge of sunlight. The amazing moon Triton is a calm, muted world. Neptune's largest moon, Triton, is one of the most peaceful and unusual objects in the solar system. Triton orbits Neptune backwards in the opposite direction of the planet's rotation, something extremely rare. It's a sign that Triton didn't form with Neptune. It was captured, drawn gently into Neptune's gravity long ago, and has been drifting around it ever since, in a slow, quiet arc. The surface of Triton is pale and smooth, covered with nitrogen ice and faint patterns that look like frost on a window. There are geysers here, but they spray softly, silently, into the thin atmosphere. Fountains of icy vapor rising gently before falling back as mist like snow. Triton is also one of the coldest places known, reaching temperatures of -235 degrees Celsius. Cold enough to freeze nitrogen into solid ice. Cold enough to keep everything still. Cold enough to make time feel slower than anywhere we've explored so far. If you stood on Triton, you'd see Neptune hanging in the sky, a deep blue sphere glowing softly over a silent, frozen landscape.
one of the most peaceful views imaginable. A planet of far distant silence is almost 3 billion miles from the Sun, so far away that a single Neptunian year lasts 165 Earth years. Seasons are long, light is dim, nothing changes quickly. Everything moves in slow, gentle cycles. If you were drifting above Neptune, the sunlight would feel like a soft evening glow. Barely there, just enough to illuminate the clouds with a faint bluish shimmer. This quiet light gives the whole planet a calming nighttime quality, like an eternal dusk frozen in place. Neptune is one of the best planets to imagine for sleep because everything here feels slowed down to the point where your thoughts can breathe and settle. The sounds of Neptune. Voyager 2 recorded Neptune's magnetic field and converted it into sound. The result? A deep, soft, echoing hum, like distant wind, mixed with waves of low-frequency pulses that rise and fall in slow rhythms. Listening to it feels like hearing the universe exhale. Those tones, smooth, deep, repetitive, are often used in sleep music because they mimic the sound of soft breathing and calm ocean waves. Neptune hums to itself in frequencies that relax the mind. Drifting away from Neptune. Now imagine slowly backing away, watching the deep blue planet shrink from a large orb to a small sphere to a tiny glowing dot in the far darkness. Its storms fade from view. Its white clouds disappear. Its faint rings become invisible. Triton drifts back into shadow, and Neptune remains behind, a calm, silent world floating in the cold, peaceful dark at the edge of everything. Out here, nothing rushes, nothing hurries, nothing interrupts the serenity. Neptune stays as a reminder of the stillness that exists in the outskirts of our solar system. A place where time moves slowly, light breathes softly, and worlds sleep quietly for centuries at a time. Let your breathing fall into a slow, comfortable rhythm as we continue our peaceful journey outward, drifting from Jupiter's swirling clouds toward another breathtaking giant. A planet so elegant, so serene, so quietly beautiful that it almost feels like the universe sculpted it just to be admired. This is Saturn, the ringed jewel of our solar system. A world wrapped in cosmic ribbons so delicate and wide that they stretch tens of thousands of miles, yet are thinner than a building. So settle in. Relax your shoulders and allow yourself to float gently into the soft golden glow of Saturn. The first glimpse, a planet made of haze and gold. From a distance, Saturn looks like a lantern glowing through fog. Its atmosphere is pale yellow and creamy white, smooth bands of color softly blending together like warm clouds drifting in layered waves. Unlike Jupiter's bold stripes, Saturn's patterns are subtle, whispers instead of shouts, brushed gently across its atmosphere like strokes from a watercolor painting. As you drift closer, the textures become clearer, thin cloud layers, gradual color shifts, and a hazy, dreamy quality that makes the whole planet feel calm and sleepy, as if Saturn itself is floating in an endless dream. A planet lighter than water. One of Saturn's strangest, most peaceful facts is this: if there were an ocean big enough, Saturn would float. It's the only planet in the solar system less dense than water. A gas giant so light and airy that it behaves almost like a giant cosmic balloon, made mostly of hydrogen and helium,
drifting in the cold silence of space. Just imagine that, a whole planet gently bobbing in a galactic sea. The thought alone softens the mind, loosening tension, inviting calmness. The rings, the most delicate structures in space. Saturn's rings aren't solid. They're made of countless pieces of ice and rock, some as small as dust, others as large as mountains, all orbiting together in perfect harmony. But here's what makes them magical. They're incredibly thin. Though they stretch out more than 170,000 miles, they are often only about 30 feet thick. That means the rings are like cosmic sheets of glass, wide, fragile, shimmering in sunlight, like frozen lace floating in the dark. As you drift above them, you'd hear nothing, just silence. But beneath you, billions of icy fragments move gracefully, never touching, never colliding, just gliding in perfect, silent orbits. The rings move so smoothly that from a distance, they look like a single glowing halo of white. Some parts reflect light like fresh snow. Others look like soft mist. And if you squint, you can even see faint color variations. Whisper-thin streaks of gold, silver, and blue. The rings are the softest, most peaceful sight in the entire solar system. Almost hypnotic, like staring into ripples on a lake. How the rings sound. Saturn's rings had their own kind of music. When spacecraft translate the electromagnetic waves around them into sound, you hear soft static, gentle pops, and slow, drifting tones. It's like listening to a calm, distant rainstorm, mixed with the hum of a dream. Some people use these sounds for sleep because they're atmospheric, low, and soothing, almost like the universe whispering. As you float over the glowing rings, imagine that soft soundscape, a quiet, peaceful background hum, as the planet drifts slowly beneath you. Saturn's winds, fast but gentle from afar. Near Saturn's equator, winds can reach 1,100 miles per hour, faster than any hurricane on Earth. But surprisingly, Saturn's storms feel calmer than Jupiter's. They're smoother, more uniform, more blended. Instead of chaotic swirls, Saturn's atmosphere forms long, flowing bands of clouds, stretching gently around the planet, like layers of silk drifting in a breeze. Even the storms look soft, pale ovals and faint circles barely visible unless you look closely. There's one exception, and it's beautiful. The hexagon, Saturn's mysterious shape. At Saturn's North Pole lies one of the strangest features in the solar system. A massive six-sided storm system shaped like a perfect geometric hexagon. It's real, it's huge, and it's been there for decades, maybe centuries. The hexagon is big enough to fit Earth inside it, but it doesn't look violent. From above, it looks like a swirling, soft-edged, pastel-colored shape, rotating slowly in the golden northern clouds. No one fully understands why it exists. Some think it's caused by atmospheric waves trapped in certain wind layers. Others think it's a natural shape created by different speeds of air interacting. But whatever the cause, the hexagon looks like a peaceful, glowing symbol,
painted into the planet's top. A cosmic mandala, turning slowly in silence. Saturn's core, a quiet, unknown depth. As you drift downward in your imagination through the pale tops of Saturn's clouds, the atmosphere becomes thicker, heavier, warmer. Hydrogen gas turns into liquid. Liquid becomes metallic. Pressure rises. And somewhere deep below, perhaps thousands of miles down, lies a small, mysterious core. We don't know if it's solid. We don't know its exact size. We don't know its temperature. It's a secret the planet has kept for billions of years, covered by layers of cloud so deep that no sunlight has ever reached them. A peaceful secret, resting silently at the center of this giant world. The moons of Saturn, a floating family. Now let's drift outward again, away from the clouds, away from the rings, towards Saturn's vast collection of moons. More than 100 have been discovered, each with their own personality, color, and history. They drift around Saturn like lanterns, slow, calm, all gliding in their silent orbits. Let's float past the most soothing ones. Titan, the thick, dreamlight moon. Titan is Saturn's largest moon, bigger than Mercury, and covered in a thick, hazy atmosphere that looks like orange fog. From its surface, the sun will look like a tiny blurry dot, like something shining through smoke. Titan has lakes and seas, but they're made of liquid methane and ethane. Cold, calm, mirror smooth. The shorelines look soft and wavy, as if carved by millions of years of gentle drizzle. Titan might have underground water oceans too, warm, dark, and still. It's one of the most peaceful worlds in the solar system. Enceladus, the sleeping ocean under ice. Then there's Enceladus, a moon so bright and reflective that it looks like a pearl. Its surface is pure ice, smooth, clean, unscarred by time. But beneath that ice lies a global ocean, warm, deep, and filled with organic molecules. Enceladus quietly sprays water vapor into space through soft icy plumes at its south pole. They rise like slow fountains, glittering in sunlight and becoming part of Saturn's outer rings.
Imagine drifting far beyond Neptune, so far from the warmth of the sun that sunlight has faded into something gentle, a pale, distant glow, like a nightlight left on in another room. Out here, the solar system changes. It becomes quieter, colder, softer. You're entering the Kuiper Belt, a vast, slow-moving region of ancient ice, drifting worlds, and frozen silence. As you move through this outer realm, everything feels peaceful. Nothing rushes, nothing hurries. Every movement happens on a timescale so slow, it almost feels like eternity stretching out in all directions. The Kuiper Belt is the solar system's sleepy edge, a place where time itself feels like it's resting. The Kuiper Belt is huge. It begins around 30 astronomical units from the Sun. That's 30 times the distance between Earth and the Sun, and it stretches out for billions of kilometers. Think of it like a soft, icy halo around our planetary system, a gentle ring of frozen debris left over from the solar system's earliest days. These objects have been here for over 4.5 billion years,
waiting patiently, unchanged, untouched. As your mind settles into this distant environment, imagine the darkness, not an empty darkness, but a calm one, a velvety darkness full of tiny points of light. The sun, that brilliant star we see every day from Earth, now appears like a tiny white pearl. It casts a faint glow that barely warms anything out here. Everything is quiet, completely quiet. The kind of quiet that feels like a soft blanket wrapped around your thoughts. While floating through the space, you begin to notice small worlds drifting slowly around you. Some are round, some are lumpy and irregular, but all of them move in gentle, predictable orbits. These are the Kuiper Belt objects, the frozen leftovers of creation. They're made mostly of water ice, methane ice, nitrogen ice, and bits of rock. They feel ancient, like old memories drifting through space. One of the first major worlds you encounter is Pluto. Though today's focus isn't Pluto itself, it drifts nearby. Pluto is part of this region, one of its largest residents. Even though Pluto is famous, out here it doesn't feel extraordinary. It feels like just another quiet traveler, moving slowly around the sun in a wide, stretched-out orbit that takes 248 years to complete. Every object in the Kuiper Belt shares that same calm rhythm, orbiting leisurely, as if time has no urgency at the solar system's frontier. Deeper into the belt, you pass by Eris, another dwarf planet. Eris is slightly smaller than Pluto, but more massive, made of incredibly dense, cold materials. Its surface might be covered with nitrogen frost, reflecting faint sunlight with a soft shimmer. When the sun catches it just right, Eris looks like a piece of polished ice drifting in endless night. There are more worlds too. Makemake, a reddish dwarf planet with a thin, hazy atmosphere. Haumea, shaped like an elongated egg, spinning so fast that its rapid rotation stretched it out. Quaiwar, which may have a thin atmosphere of methane that comes and goes depending on its distance from the sun. Each of these worlds moves with a gentle stillness. Nothing disturbs them, no storms, no human activity, no noise. Only the slow pull of gravity guiding them along their paths. As you drift deeper into the Kuiper Belt, the stars look sharper than they do from Earth. Without a thick atmosphere or bright sunlight, every star stands out like a crisp pinprick of light. Some are blue, some are red, some faint, some bright. The Milky Way stretches across the darkness like a soft cloud of silver dust. The temperature here is astonishingly cold, close to absolute zero. But the cold doesn't feel harsh in this imagination. It feels peaceful, like everything has fallen asleep. Out here, motion slows, sound stops, and time softens. Even the particles floating through space barely move. Every so often, you pass a tiny object, maybe only a few miles across, a leftover chunk of ice that has been drifting in this region since the solar system was young. These tiny objects are like fossils in space, holding clues to what everything looked like before planets formed. They've never melted, never been disturbed. They've simply existed in silence, waiting. The Kuiper Belt is also where many comets come from, the short-period comets that occasionally visit the inner solar system. When these icy bodies get nudged by gravity, they slowly fall inward, toward the warmth of the sun. But here, in their natural home, they rest quietly, frozen and unmoving. Even though this region is crowded with trillions of icy objects, the distances between them are enormous. You could drift for millions of kilometers before passing one. This space feels empty, but in a comforting way, like a giant airy room where nothing pushes against you. As you continue drifting, imagine turning around to look back at the solar system. You can't see the planets, they're too small, too far away, but you can see a faint glowing disk of light where the sun's warmth still reaches. That glowing disk represents everything familiar, everything close to us. Earth, the moon, the planets, all orbiting quietly inside that bright region. But out here is the quiet frontier. The Kuiper Belt reminds you that the solar system isn't just planets and moons, it's layers, deep, vast layers, each with its own character. The inner planets are warm and active. The outer giants are swirling with storms. And out here, everything finally calms down. Space becomes slow and gentle again. This region also marks a transition, the start of the boundary between the solar system and the interstellar medium. Far beyond the Kuiper Belt lies the scattered disk, a region where objects follow wild, stretched-out paths. After that, millions of kilometers further lies the Oort Cloud, a vast, almost mythic sphere of icy bodies surrounding the entire solar system. The Kuiper Belt is like the doorway leading towards all of that, the quiet bridge between our planets and the deep cosmic ocean outside. As you stay here, floating among these distant icy worlds, you might imagine hearing a soft hum, not a real sound because sound can't travel through space, but a kind of mental hum, the feeling of the universe running in slow motion. Everything is peaceful. Everything is still. Even the passing of time becomes gentle. If you look closely at one of the small Kuiper Belt objects drifting by, you might notice that its surface is covered in craters. These objects barely collide with anything, but over billions of years, even tiny impacts add up. Each crater is a scar from some ancient moment in time, frozen forever in the ice. Occasionally, faint sunlight glints off patches of methane frost or nitrogen ice. These icy surfaces act like mirrors, reflecting the light of the distant sun. Some regions look smooth, others rough, but all of them are untouched. The Kuiper Belt is more than just a place. It's a feeling, a sense of drifting beyond everything familiar, a sense of calm so deep that it becomes almost dreamlike. As you breathe slowly, settle your mind, and picture the darkness stretching endlessly around you, it becomes easy to imagine falling asleep here, floating peacefully among the frozen worlds. Time doesn't matter. Distance doesn't matter. Everything is distant, quiet, slow, and gentle. Exactly the kind of environment your mind can rest in. The Kuiper Belt is the solar system's cradle of stillness, a rim of ancient ice, a soft outer edge, and for a moment, you get to drift through it, carried by the silent current of space. As you drift farther from the Kuiper Belt, the familiar objects of our solar system become fewer and farther apart. The pale glow of the sun grows even softer, shrinking into what looks less like a star and more like a bright pin in a vast blanket of darkness. The cold deepens, the silence thickens, and the solar system begins to stretch out into something more mysterious, more spacious, and more dreamlike. This is where you enter the scattered disk. It's a region that feels different from everything you've seen so far. Less structured, less orderly, more open and wild. If the Kuiper Belt is like a quiet, icy neighborhood, the scattered disk is the lonely countryside beyond it, filled with objects that wander through enormous, stretched paths around the sun. Nothing rushes here. Nothing crowds together. Everything drifts with measured slowness, moving along orbits so long and wide that a single year can last thousands of Earth years. This is the solar system's wilderness, vast, cold, and almost completely untouched. Let yourself sink into that idea. A wilderness made not of trees or mountains, but of silence, distance, and the slow drift of ancient ice.
The scattered disk begins where the Kuiper Belt thins out, around 50 astronomical units from the Sun. But unlike the Kuiper Belt, whose objects move in orderly circular paths, the objects of the scattered disk follow wild, elongated orbits. Their paths stretch far out into space, like gentle arcs carved by distant gravitational nudges long ago. Some scientists believe that many of these objects were once part of the Kuiper Belt, but were scattered outward by Neptune's gravity billions of years ago. Others think they formed in place, slowly drifting into increasingly eccentric orbits. The truth is still hidden, frozen inside these icy bodies, like a secret waiting to thaw. As you continue drifting, you notice something interesting about the scattered disk. There are fewer objects here, but each one feels more mysterious. They don't follow neat patterns. They don't move in smooth circles. They travel like wanderers, lonely, ancient, and slow. One of the largest of these wanderers is Eris, a dwarf planet slightly smaller in size than Pluto, but more massive. It travels on a wide, arcing orbit that takes it far, far from the Sun for centuries at a time. Out here, when Eris is near its farthest distance, the Sun is so small and faint that it barely casts a shadow. Imagine that. A world so far away that sunlight feels like moonlight. Eris is covered in frozen nitrogen and methane. When sunlight hits it, faint as it is, the surface sparkles softly like a distant icy mirror. And when Eris moves closer to the Sun, just a little bit, thin layers of frost evaporate and form a ghostly, temporary atmosphere, only to freeze again as the dwarf planet drifts outward. It breathes in a way, a slow exhale of gas when it warms, a slow inhale when it cools. A world that responds gently to the distant warmth of the Sun, just as you might respond to a soft light in a dark room. Drifting past Eris, you notice how vast the space around it is. The scattered disk is not densely packed. It is open and sparse. You could drift for millions of kilometers without seeing another object. The emptiness here is calming, a space without noise, without pressure, without urgency. This emptiness is not lonely, it is peaceful. And in the darkness, faint stars shine brightly, sharper and clearer than anywhere near Earth. The Milky Way stretches across the sky in a pale, shimmering river of light, untouched by atmosphere, unblurred by air. The scattered disk may be cold, but it offers the clearest, quietest view of the cosmos. Suddenly, your thoughts drift to another distant wanderer, Gong, a reddish world also classified as a dwarf planet. Its 554-year orbit is tilted dramatically, giving it a slow, sweeping path through the solar system. Its surface likely holds frozen methane, nitrogen, and organic materials that give it its warm, rusty color, unusual for such a cold place. Gong's moon, Shanglu, orbits it lazily, the two of them drifting together through space like an old pair of travelers. The moon may be tidally locked, always showing the same face to its parent world. A quiet connection between two distant icy bodies. If you continue drifting through the darkness, you might come across Sedna, one of the most distant objects known, whose orbit takes more than 11,000 years to complete. Sedna is not technically part of the scattered disk. It belongs to an even more distant region called the Oort Cloud, but it passes near enough that it feels like a bridge between the two realms. Sedna's orbit is so elongated that it spends most of its life in near total darkness, where sunlight is little more than a memory. Its reddish surface, colored by organic compounds called tholins, absorbs what little light it receives and glows with a subtle warmth, even in the coldest corners of the solar system. To imagine Sedna is to imagine time slowed to its simplest form. A world so distant that its seasons last thousands of years. A world that feels less like a planet and more like a gentle dream, drifting quietly on the edge of everything we know. You drift further into the scattered disk, marveling at how different everything feels. In the inner solar system, movement is constant. There are storms, eruptions, magnetic pulses, and swirling atmospheres. But out here, everything is calm. Everything is slow. Everything is still. It's like stepping out of a bustling city and into a deep, silent forest. The objects here are ancient leftovers, fragments that never became planets, icy bodies that never melted, pieces of the early solar system frozen in place for billions of years. They're the fossils of creation, preserved perfectly in the extreme cold. Some of these objects follow orbits so extreme that they travel from near the Sun to far beyond Pluto, taking thousands of years to complete a single loop. Their journeys are long, solitary, and quiet. Yet, they do not resist. They float peacefully along their paths, guided only by gravity, unbothered by the passage of time. As you drift further, you notice how darkness changes here. In the inner solar system, darkness is broken by reflected sunlight, glowing atmospheres, storms, and rings. But in the scattered disk, darkness is uniform, pure. It wraps around you like soft velvet. And in that darkness, the stars shine brighter than you've ever seen them before. Some appear so sharp that they look like tiny needles of white light, piercing the night. The galactic plane stretches across the sky like a river of stars, undisturbed by planets, moons, or atmospheric haze. You feel small, but in the comforting way. In the way that reminds you that everything is connected in a vast and peaceful system, larger than anything the human mind can fully grasp. As you drift, imagine the slow movement of the scattered disk objects. Each one moves through an orbit that may carry it inward toward the Kuiper Belt, then outward toward distant space, over thousands or tens of thousands of years, like a gentle breath. An inhale, an exhale. Gravity as the lungs of the solar system. Nothing in the scattered disk moves fast. Nothing collides often. Everything is spread out. The movement is graceful, patient, slow. This region is where the solar system becomes almost mythic, where objects travel so far and wide that they feel like cosmic nomads. This peaceful emptiness, this vastness, this slow drifting motion, all of it creates a sense of tranquility unmatched anywhere else in the solar system. Eventually, as you drift on, you reach the far edge of the scattered disk.
Imagine drifting so far from the sun that the warmth of its light no longer feels like warmth at all. Imagine the planets behind you shrinking into tiny grains, the gas giants fading into faint marbles, and the Kuiper Belt disappearing into a thin, icy haze. Beyond the scattered disk, beyond everything you've known so far, you enter a region so vast, so dreamy, and so distant that it feels almost like stepping out of the solar system entirely. This is the Oort Cloud, a silent, spherical shell of icy objects that surrounds our solar system like a delicate bubble, fragile, ancient, and almost unimaginably large. The Oort Cloud is not a place we've ever visited. In fact, no spacecraft has reached it. No human has ever seen it directly. But we know it's there. Its presence whispered through the long loops of comets that sometimes wander inward toward the sun. Take a slow, deep breath, because you're about to drift into the quietest region of space we can imagine. The size of a dream. The Oort Cloud begins somewhere around 2,000 to 5,000 astronomical units from the sun and stretches out to as far as 100,000 AU. To understand how vast that is, Earth is 1 AU from the sun. Neptune is about 30 AU away. The Kuiper Belt stretches to roughly 50 AU. But the Oort Cloud? It may extend halfway to the nearest star. It is a sphere of icy bodies so large that if the solar system were the size of a classroom, the Oort Cloud would stretch miles beyond it. This vastness isn't frightening. It's calming. Room to breathe. Room to drift. Room for stillness. Everything here is so spread out that objects may never collide, not even once in the entire lifetime of the universe. Most of the comets in the Oort Cloud might never pass near anything else at all. It is the solar system's ultimate quiet zone. The composition of peace. The Oort Cloud is made of icy bodies, frozen relics from the early solar system. These objects are composed of water ice, methane ice, ammonia ice, frozen carbon compounds, dust and rock from the dawn of time. Some are small, just a few hundred meters across. Others may be hundreds of kilometers wide, as large as dwarf planets. But even the largest ones drift quietly, slowly, gently through the darkness. They move so slowly that their orbits may take millions of years. Imagine living in a world where a single year, one orbit around the sun, lasts longer than the entire history of human civilization. Imagine the patience of that kind of existence, the calm, the stillness. This is what it means to be a world in the Oort Cloud. The light of a faraway sun. From here, the sun no longer looks like the blazing star we know. It appears as a tiny white dot, brighter than the other stars, but no larger. If you were standing on an Oort Cloud object, the sunlight would be so faint that it would barely cast a shadow. The light would feel like the faint glow of a distant moon, soft and diffuse, leaving most of the landscape in a gentle twilight. It wouldn't feel harsh, it wouldn't feel warm, it would feel peaceful, like standing in a snowy field at dusk with everything around you quiet and still. The origin of comets. The Oort Cloud is the birthplace of long-period comets, those that take thousands or millions of years to return to the inner solar system. When these comets are disturbed, perhaps by the gravity of a passing star or the subtle pull of the galaxy itself, they begin the long journey inward. Some take tens of thousands of years to reach the sun. Some never return again. Some only visit once in all of human history. Imagine that. A traveler that spends millions of years drifting through icy darkness before arriving at the sun in one brief flash of brilliance. A cosmic snowflake melting in a campfire. And after its moment in the sunlight, after it grows a long, glowing tail, the comet drifts away again, returning to its frozen home for another million years of sleep. This gentle cycle, this slow, grand journey, is the rhythm of the Oort Cloud. The sphere of stillness. Unlike the Kuiper Belt or the scattered disk, which lie in the plane of the solar system, the Oort Cloud is a full sphere. It surrounds us completely, in every direction, like a cosmic cocoon. This makes the Oort Cloud feel like a comforting boundary, not a wall, not a cage, but a soft outer shell that separates the solar system from the rest of the galaxy. Inside this sphere, everything we know exists. Every planet, every asteroid, every comet that has ever visited the inner solar system, every human, every memory, every story. Outside the Oort Cloud lies interstellar space, the vast ocean between the stars. But we'll stay here a moment longer, floating in the sleepiest, quietest part of our solar neighborhood. A landscape of eternal night. If you imagine landing on an Oort Cloud object, the landscape would be cold, barren, and serene. No atmosphere, no wind, no sound, no movement except the slow, gentle drift of stars overhead as the object turns in space. You would see the Milky Way stretching across the sky, bright and crisp, unblurred by any atmospheric haze. Other Oort Cloud objects would appear as tiny dots of reflected light, so far apart that the space between them feels like an endless field of quiet. It is a place without storms, without weather, without any sense of hurry. A place where time slows to a crawl. A place where nothing interrupts serenity. Here, even the idea of now feels stretched, so that moments blend together like smooth brushstrokes on a tranquil canvas. The influence of nearby stars. Every so often, perhaps every few million years, a star passes relatively close to our solar system. Not dangerously close, but close enough that its gravity tugs gently on some of the Oort Cloud objects. These small nudges can change orbits, send a comet drifting inward, or alter the shape of the entire cloud. But the process is slow, very slow. So slow that even the word slow feels too fast for it. When a star passes by, its light briefly brightens a tiny part of the cloud, and then it drifts away again, leaving silence again. The Oort Cloud is not fragile, but it is responsive. It shifts, breathes, and adjusts over geological time like a sleeping giant turning over softly. The edge of the solar system. The outer boundary of the Oort Cloud marks the true edge of our solar system. Not the edge of the sun's light, but the edge of the sun's influence. Beyond that point, the sun's gravity is no longer strong enough to hold objects securely. Beyond that point, space doesn't belong to our solar system anymore. It belongs to the galaxy. This boundary is called the heliopause, a threshold between two realms. Crossing it would feel like walking from a quiet room into an even quieter forest, the kind of silence that feels infinite. This is where the solar system whispers, "I end here." And interstellar space whispers back, "Come drift with me instead." Drifting away from the Oort Cloud. Now imagine slowly drifting outward, watching the Oort Cloud become a faint haze, a soft sphere of invisible snowflakes spread out across trillions of miles. The sun becomes a distant star, barely brighter than the others. Inside the Oort Cloud lies everything we have ever known. Outside lies the galaxy, vast, open.
Take a slow breath, and as you exhale, imagine the entire solar system drifting away behind you. Not just the planets, not just the moons, but the Oort Cloud as well, shrinking into a faint, hazy bubble of ancient ice. For the first time in this long journey, you are leaving home. Truly leaving. Stepping beyond the sun's reach, beyond its warmth, beyond its gravitational embrace. Ahead of you lies interstellar space, the vast, silent ocean between the stars. It is not empty. It is not cold in a cruel way. It is not dark in a frightening way. Instead, it is peaceful, quiet, weightless, an endless expanse of calm where nothing pushes against you, nothing rushes past, and nothing interrupts the gentle stillness. Interstellar space is the most tranquil environment we know of, a place where time stretches, sound disappears, and everything drifts in slow motion. Let yourself drift there now. Leaving the heliosphere, the sun's last whisper. Before you enter interstellar space, you pass through the heliopause, the boundary where the sun's influence ends. Inside the heliosphere, the sun washes everything with charged particles, filling space with a quiet wind of energy. But as you cross the heliopause, you feel that wind soften, fade, and finally disappear. It's like stepping out of a warm room into cool night air. The temperature does not shock you. The darkness does not scare you. Everything simply becomes quieter. Voyager 1, the farthest human-made object, crossed this boundary in 2012. It heard the sun's wind fade, and the soft, faint hum of interstellar plasma begin. A delicate vibration, a cosmic whisper, the sound of space between stars. Floating here, you might imagine hearing that hum, a gentle, distant ringing, like the last note of a soft bell, echoing forever. The true nature of interstellar space. Interstellar space is not empty. It simply feels empty because everything is spread so far apart that each particle has plenty of room to rest. For every cubic centimeter of interstellar space, there might be one atom. Compare that to Earth's atmosphere, where there are 10 quintillion atoms in the same space. This vast emptiness is calming, a soft silence created not by absence, but by openness. Between the stars lies thin gas, drifting like invisible fog. Tiny grains of dust older than the sun. Soft magnetic fields stretching like faint threads. Cosmic rays trickling through like quiet sparks. The glow of distant starlight, and the low humming vibration of charged particles. Everything here moves slowly. Everything here spreads out. Everything here seems to sigh in relief, as if finally free from the busy gravitational tug-of-war inside the solar system. The darkness that isn't dark. Interstellar darkness isn't black. It's a very deep, very gentle shade of blue-black, layered with faint light. Tiny particles of dust scatter distant starlight, creating a soft glow known as the diffuse galactic light. It's not bright enough to navigate by, not bright enough to cast shadows, but bright enough to turn the darkness into velvet, not void. And then there are the stars. Out here, far from any atmosphere, far from the glare of the sun, stars look sharper than you've ever imagined. They appear like crystal points, pure white, some faintly blue, some warm gold, some glowing red. The Milky Way stretches across the sky like a river of powdered light, a calm ocean of stars curling around the galaxy. Floating here, the universe looks still, motionless, peaceful. If you stayed long enough, you would see stars drift slowly past one another, but only over millions of years. Time moves differently in interstellar space. Slow, measured, unbothered. Temperature in the deep quiet. Interstellar space is cold, but not uniformly cold. Between stars, the temperature hovers around -270 degrees Celsius, just a few degrees above absolute zero. Yet, it doesn't feel like Earth's cold. There is no wind, no chill, no biting air. This cold is peaceful, still, motionless. It's the kind of cold that preserves ancient dust, the kind that slows everything down, the kind that allows particles to drift without disturbance for millions of years. Some regions are warmer, filled with gentle heat from starlight. Others are cooler, shaded by giant clouds of dust and gas. But everywhere you drift, you feel the same stillness, a steady, quiet, calm. The interstellar medium, a gentle ocean of tiny things. The space between stars is filled with something called the interstellar medium, a mixture of gas and dust spread thinly throughout the galaxy. This medium is delicate, subtle, like whispers carried on invisible currents. It contains hydrogen atoms drifting alone, electrons wandering like lost fireflies, tiny disk grains smaller than smoke particles, ancient molecules formed during the galaxy's birth, magnetic fields running like soft threads through space, and cosmic rays trickling through like faint sparks. The interstellar medium is so thin that you could travel for thousands of years without running into anything bigger than a grain of sand. And yet, this gentle ocean contains the seeds of stars. Given enough time, enough quiet, enough slow gathering of particles, interstellar clouds collapse into dense cores and ignite into stars. The peace you feel here is the peace of creation, waiting patiently for the right moment. Nebulae, clouds of cosmic mist. As you drift, you might encounter a nebula, a huge, gentle cloud of gas and dust glowing softly in the dark. Some nebulae reflect the light of nearby stars. Some glow red or blue from excited hydrogen. Some block starlight entirely, forming soft silhouettes known as dark nebulae. These clouds are enormous, sometimes hundreds of light years across. But they look feather-light, fluffy, dreamlike. If you floated inside one, the gas would be too thin to feel, the dust too sparse to touch. You would simply see a soft fog around you, colored by starlight in shades of pink, violet, or blue. Nebulae are the quiet nurseries of stars, and drifting through one feels like drifting through the universe's womb, warm, glowing, peaceful. The sound of deep space. There is no air in interstellar space, but the galaxy still hums. Charged particles vibrate. Magnetic fields oscillate. Waves ripple through plasma. All of this can be converted into sound by instruments. NASA has done this. The recordings are ethereal, soft, low, humming tones that rise and fall like distant whale songs echoing through the void. Listening to these sounds is calming, like hearing the universe breathe. If you close your eyes, you might imagine that quiet hum around you now, steady, deep,
comforting. The scale of the stars. In interstellar space, you become aware of how far apart stars truly are. On average, stars in our region of the galaxy are separated by 5 light years, trillions of kilometers. If the Sun were a marble, the nearest star, Proxima Centauri, would be another marble located miles away. This separation creates peace. No nearby gravitational pulls, no harsh radiation belts, just open, calm distance. In this ocean of space, you float between stars like a leaf drifting on still water. The shifting of light. As you drift farther from the Sun, light from other stars becomes clearer, more distinct. Some are red giants, swollen stars glowing warmly. Some are blue-white dwarfs, brilliant and hot. Some are binaries, 2 stars orbiting gently around one another. Each point of light feels like a quiet companion in the...
Take one long, slow breath in. And as you exhale, imagine everything you know drifting away behind you. Not just the planets, not just the Oort Cloud, not even the Sun. Imagine the entire solar system becoming a tiny spark in a sea of black velvet. A single point of light floating inside something much larger. A quiet, glowing structure shaped by gravity, dust, and time. You are drifting into the Milky Way galaxy, our home among billions of stars. There is no rush here, no noise, no bright explosions in your face, just vast, steady calm. The kind of calm that comes from distances so large that everything becomes soft and slow. Let yourself drift into that calm now, as we explore the Milky Way in the gentlest way possible. A galaxy shaped like a soft, spinning disk. From far away, the Milky Way looks like a glowing spiral, a gentle disk of light about 100,000 light-years wide and 1,000 light-years thick. But even this shape is not sharp. It is soft around the edges, with hazy arms curving outward like swirling mist. These spiral arms contain most of the galaxy's stars, clusters of bright young suns, and long trails of dust that look almost like watercolor strokes. From our viewpoint inside the galaxy, we cannot see the spiral shape directly. Instead, we see the Milky Way as a long band of light stretching across the night sky. A river of stars, dust, and glowing gas. This river is the combined light of over 100 billion stars, all blending into a soft, silver cloud. When text-to-speech reads this, it flows smoothly. The Milky Way contains hundreds of billions of stars, and you are drifting through it now. The solar system's quiet neighborhood. The solar system is located in a region called the Orion Arm, a small, calm spiral arm of the galaxy. We are not near the crowded center. We are not near chaotic star clusters. We live in a quiet suburb of the galaxy. If the Milky Way were a city, the core would be the busy downtown. The spiral arms would be the main roads. The Orion Arm would be a peaceful neighborhood. This quiet location protects life. There are fewer supernovas, less radiation, more stability. It is as if the galaxy has placed us in a safe corner where change happens slowly and calmly. Stars around you, gentle points of light. As you drift through the galaxy, stars scatter across the sky in every direction. Some are bright, some are faint, some are red, some blue, some gold. But all of them are far apart, much farther apart than most people imagine. If the Sun were a marble, the nearest star, Proxima Centauri, would be another marble placed dozens of kilometers away. This huge spacing means interstellar space is quiet. Stars rarely collide. Gravity moves slowly. Light travels peacefully from star to star. As you drift, you may notice groups of stars forming clusters, families of stars born together from the same cloud. These clusters drift apart over time, moving gently through the galaxy like dandelion seeds drifting through air. Nebula, calm clouds of dust and gas. Every so often, you pass a nebula, a giant cloud of gas and dust spread out over many light years. Nebula looks soft, not solid. They glow in shades of blue, pink, red, or purple, depending on the stars shining nearby. They are the nurseries of the galaxy, where new stars begin to form. Inside these clouds, dust drifts like fine smoke. Hydrogen gas gathers in slow-moving waves. Particles bump into each other gently, and gravity pulls everything inward at a calm pace. Over millions of years, dense regions form. Stars ignite. Planets begin to grow. But from your point of view, drifting slowly through space, these clouds appear completely still, a frozen, peaceful painting. No wind, no turbulence, just a calm glow in the darkness. The galactic core, a bright but distant center. Far away from you lies the center of the Milky Way, a bright, crowded region full of ancient stars. You will not travel there today, but you can imagine it. A dense ball of light, filled with star clusters and glowing gas. At the very center lies Sagittarius A, a supermassive black hole about 4 million times the mass of the Sun. This black hole is quiet, calm. It does not pull stars into it violently. Most stars orbit around it peacefully in large, stable paths. Even the core, despite its activity, feels gentle from this distance, a glowing reminder of the galaxy's center of gravity. Dark matter, the silent structure holding everything together. You cannot see dark matter. It does not shine. It does not glow. It does not emit any detectable light. But it is here, all around you, forming a giant halo around the Milky Way. Dark matter acts as the skeleton of the galaxy, a framework that holds stars, gas, and dust in place. Without dark matter, the galaxy's arms would drift apart. Stars would fly outward. But with dark matter, everything stays balanced and calm, moving together in a slow, circular dance. Even though it is invisible, its presence is peaceful. It provides structure without sound, order without force, stability without pressure. Drifting through spiral arms. As you glide through a spiral arm, you notice that light becomes a little brighter. There are more stars, more clouds of gas, more glowing nebula.
But even here, nothing feels busy or rushed. Stars move slowly, so slowly that a complete orbit around the galaxy takes the Sun about 230 million years. This means all stars are drifting together in a huge, calm flow. The galaxy behaves like a slow river, with all its stars moving in long, smooth currents. There is no hurry, no sudden change, only steady motion. Globular clusters, ancient spheres of stars. In the distance, you may see a bright, round ball of light. This is a globular cluster, a dense group of hundreds of thousands of stars packed tightly together. These clusters orbit the Milky Way from above and below, like bees drifting around a flower. They are some of the oldest objects in the galaxy, nearly 12 billion years old. From far away, they look like glowing snowballs. Up close, they sparkle with stars, each one shining steadily. But they remain quiet, calm, stable. A globular cluster is like a nightlight floating in space, a small sphere of soft brightness against the dark. The galaxy as a whole, calm in every direction. When you step back far enough, the Milky Way becomes a single, beautiful object, a glowing spiral, a disk of light, a quiet island in the sea of the universe.
Take a deep, slow breath and imagine yourself floating in the quietest place you've ever been. A place where even time seems to rest. A place where your thoughts drift as slowly as the stars themselves. You are deep in interstellar space, beyond the reach of the sun, beyond the Oort Cloud, beyond everything that ever shaped your world. Behind you, the solar system hangs like a faint bubble of light, fragile and small in the sea of the galaxy. And now, gently, we begin our journey home. Not quickly, not rushed, but slowly, calmly, peacefully, like gliding back through a dream. The stars behind you, the sun ahead. Interstellar space stretches out endlessly behind you. Ahead, the sun is a distant pinprick, a white dot that seems no larger than any other star, but it glows just a little brighter, just enough to feel familiar, just enough to guide you home. As you drift toward it, the darkness begins to change. The space around you becomes ever so slightly brighter. Tiny dust particles reflect the faintest glimmers of sunlight. The soft, low hum of the interstellar medium grows gentler, as if feeding into a whisper. You are leaving the space between the stars and entering the outskirts of your own system once again. You're approaching the Oort Cloud. The Oort Cloud, the outer shell of home. The Oort Cloud surrounds the solar system like a bubble made of ancient snowflakes. Icy bodies spaced so far apart that you could travel millions of miles and never see one. As you move closer, nothing seems to change visually. The Oort Cloud is too diffuse to see, too thin, too subtle. But you can feel its presence in the softness of the light, in the faint, cold glow of distant ice catching sunlight that takes hours to reach this far. These icy bodies barely move. Some take millions of years to circle the sun. Their orbits are so large that calling them years feels almost silly. They're more like slow, cosmic lifetimes. Drifting through this region feels like passing through an ancestral memory, a place untouched, unchanged, unbothered since the birth of the solar system. Soon the Oort Cloud fades behind you. Ahead lies a realm where objects move just a little more often. paths cross, orbits stretch, and gravity begins to tug again. You're entering the scattered disk, the solar system's quiet wilderness. Compared to the emptiness of the Oort Cloud, the scattered disk feels almost lively, but only in the quietest possible way. Objects here drift in long, elliptical orbits, sweeping slowly around the sun in paths that sometimes take thousands or tens of thousands of years to complete. Here you pass Eris, reflecting faint sunlight off its frozen surface, then Gong, with its mysterious reddish glow, then Sedna, moving with such patience that it won't return to its closest point to the sun for thousands of years. Every world here feels like a hush, a breath, a soft note in a song that plays once every eon. You drift between them effortlessly, watching as sunlight strengthens just slightly. Shadows deepen, distances shrink. Ahead is the Kuiper Belt, the solar system's icy garden. The Kuiper Belt, the quiet outer neighborhood. As you float into the Kuiper Belt, small icy worlds begin to appear more frequently. Pluto drifts silently by, reflecting faint sunlight off its frozen surface. Haumea spins rapidly, stretched like an egg. Makemake reflects warm, reddish tones. Hundreds of thousands of icy bodies glide through this region like ancient ornaments. Even here, deep in the outer dark, the sun is still too faint to warm anything, but its light paints everything with a soft, gentle glow. The Kuiper Belt feels welcoming, like the outskirts of a city you are returning to after a long journey. Your drift continues. The sun grows brighter, the planets begin to lie ahead, waiting in their wide, graceful orbits. You're moving inward now, toward the cold blue light of Neptune. Neptune, the deep blue calm. Neptune grows larger in your view, its rich cobalt hue glowing softly in the darkness. You remember the peaceful storms, the deep, slow swirls of clouds, the great dark spot drifting like a shadow across its surface. Triton orbits quietly nearby, its icy plumes rising gently into space like soft fountains frozen in time. You float past without disturbing anything, just a silent guest traveling through a silent world. Soon, Neptune fades behind you, and a pale blue orb appears ahead. Uranus, the sleeping planet. Uranus lies tilted on its side, rolling through space in calm sideways rotation. Its pale, milky blue surface looks still, smooth and serene. A world that seems to be sleeping. Its rings are faint whispers, its moons drift in slow circles, like dancers moving through a quiet, tilted ballroom. You glide past, feeling the calmness of Uranus settle into you like a cool breath of air. Then you move on, toward the golden glow ahead. Saturn, the ringed gem. Saturn appears with a gentle elegance unmatched by any world. Its rings shine softly, thin as glass, wide as continents, floating in delicate arcs around the creamy pastel planet. The rings feel like frozen music, quiet, harmonious, a peaceful pattern repeating eternally. Titan drifts below, wrapped in golden haze, Enceladus sprays icy plumes into space, like shimmering snowfall rising upward. As you drift by, Saturn turns slowly beneath you, its beauty calming your thoughts like a lullaby made of light. Then the rings soften into distance, and Jupiter rises ahead. Jupiter, the sleeping giant. Jupiter fills your view, a swirling giant of soft stripes and ancient storms. From this gentle distance, the great red spot looks like a sleepy swirl of color, its centuries-old winds blending into the cream-colored atmosphere. Io glows with volcanic heat. Europa reflects icy stillness. Ganymede and Callisto drift like quiet moons dreaming.
Jupiter's presence is comforting. A guardian, a protector, a giant that has allowed Earth to remain safe. You drift away from Jupiter, feeling grounded, anchored, held. Ahead lies the warmth of home. Mars, the quiet desert. Mars greets you with soft tones of red and orange. Its thin atmosphere paints the sky a dusty pink. Its volcanoes rise gently above the plains, their slopes so shallow that they feel like a slow walk uphill. Mars is quiet, silent, a desert world of ancient rocks and scattered memories of water long gone. You glide past the rust-colored dunes and continue inward. Earth, the blue home. And then you see it, a blue sphere glowing with life. Earth. White clouds swirl over oceans of deep blue, continents glow in soft browns and greens. City lights sparkle faintly on the night side like tiny fireflies. Earth is alive, warm, moving, peaceful from afar. You drift closer, feeling its gravity pull you gently, like a hand guiding you back to somewhere safe. This is your home, your origin, your breath, your familiar rhythm in the vastness of the universe. And as you look back, you see the entire solar system stretched out behind you, a collection of worlds, each quiet in its own way, each beautiful, each part of the story you just traveled through. The journey completes itself. From interstellar darkness to the icy Oort Cloud, to the scattered wilderness, to the Kuiper Belt snowy garden, to Neptune's deep blues, to Uranus's sideways calm, to Saturn's shimmering rings, to Jupiter's giant swirling storms, to Mars's quiet deserts, and finally Earth's gentle glow. You have drifted through it all, seen everything, felt the peace in every corner of the solar system. And now as your journey ends, you feel your body soften, your mind lighten, and your thoughts settle like dust drifting to rest in sunlight. The solar system is vast, but peaceful, ancient, but gentle, mystifying, but calming. And you have floated through it all slowly, softly,